Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the next episode of Model Mondays. My name's Anna. I'm an event planner for Reactor, joining you from Redmond, Washington. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters and hosts to answer live. Our session is being recorded and will be available to view on demand right here on the Microsoft Reactor channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our host for today. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, Anna, for the warm welcome. Anna is our producer for the day, and myself and Anna will be in the chat looking out for any questions you might have. But a warm welcome to everyone who's joining us today. I'm seeing Ravi from San Diego and Derek from Canada, so welcome. I am from Kenya. I am Bethany Jepchumba. I will be your host for today. Currently, I work in the AI team here at Microsoft, the AI Cloud Advocate team. And today we'll be talking about the Azure AI Foundry Speech Playground. So you'll see what you can do in Azure AI Foundry regarding speech. And if you have any questions from the time any of our speakers show up, feel free to post your questions in the chat and we will be there to answer any questions you might have. Our guest for today is Utkarsh, and he is a program manager at Microsoft, and we'll be inviting him in our Spotlight series for a demo as well as any questions you might have. Okay, so that's it about our session of today. This is a series that we've been running, I think, for 2 months now over the summer from June, July, now in August. We've been running these sessions talking about models. And if you've missed any of the sessions, you can check it out in the link that is provided on the screen. But then if you also want to join us, we have 2 sessions. We have this live stream on Mondays. So every Monday at 1 p.m., you'll find us doing the live stream. And then on Friday, we'll have an AMA. So you can join us on Friday for the AMA, and we'll have all the questions you have answered. The AMA will be on Discord. So that's the other thing. You can join us on Discord and hang out with us. Talk to us about the session, what you loved most, and any questions you might have. Okay, so first of all, before we even go to the speech models, I want to invite Shamila. Shamila is our senior program manager for the marketing team, and she will be sharing with us some of the weekly highlights. Hi, Shamila.
Hi, Bethany. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. It's been an interesting week or weeks with all the GPT announcements and launches and so many things happening. There's never a dull moment in the world of AI, I believe. So,
Yeah, we've been going strong since I'm guessing 2022. Strong, like
yes.
every day something new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, so we'll roll up the video and then we'll get back to just a small Q&A before we go to the next segment. Over to you, Anna.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Model Mondays weekly highlights. And this week we have some very interesting highlights around not just models, but also around agent service and a few other things around Gartner Magic Quadrant and all those interesting outside of just model launch highlights. So let's get started. And as usual, every highlight will have a QR code that will point you to either the blog or the GitHub repo or a model card. So feel free to take a screenshot of it and then explore more. So the first highlight is about an agent called Lakuna that was built by one of our Microsoft employees as a hackathon project. Now, this is kind of addressing the bias, like the human bias. So as a product manager, every roadmap, Jira ticket, or PRD is built on like some invisible scaffolding or assumptions. Most of the time, we don't even see those assumptions, we just ship the product. So enter Lakuna, again, a hackathon built agent powered by Copilot Studio and Azure AI Foundry. Lakuna actually takes your doc requirements, strategies, vision decks, and surfaces the baked-in assumptions that you may be blind to. It looks for signals like speculative verbs or confident declarations, then scores them by impact, confidence, and reversibility, all in plain English. It tells you what breaks if this assumption is wrong. How sure are we, and how hard is it to pivot? And this agent doesn't criticize, it actually collaborates. So it nudges teams to pause, reflect, and test before doubling down. And for product teams who are living in the fog of cognitive bias, Lakuna actually brings a fresh outsider lens, and it acts as a curious collaborator to help us notice how we guess before those guesses harden into actual code. Now, this is really spectacular, especially for product teams. Moving on, if you think your models are big now, wait until you try to squeeze tomorrow's 1 million token bees into yesterday's GPUs. That's where ND H200 V5 VMs come in. Azure Machine Learning just dropped these monsters, each powered by 8 NVIDIA H200 Tensor Core GPUs with a jaw-dropping 1 gigabyte of HBM3E memory per GPU. That's a 76% jump over H100s, giving you over a terabyte of GPU memory per VM. So why does this matter? Because memory is the new superpower. Bigger context windows, larger batches, and high-resolution vision tokens can now run without any painful offloading tricks. So with 4.8 terabytes of throughput per GPU, you're feeding data fast enough to keep the compute engines humming. So the next highlight is around Agent Factory. Agent Factory is a series of blogs that we are actually dropping weekly around agents. And this is like the second in a multi-part series of a blog series around agents. And the last the first one was around patterns that you can expect and when you're building your agents. And now it is around extensibility. So if the past year taught us anything, it's this, that agents are only as smart as the tools you give them. The first wave of agentic AI was all about prompts and single models. Now the next wave, it's about extensibility, making sure your agents can plug into hundreds of APIs, services, and workflows without breaking every time a schema changes. And this is where MCP becomes a game changer. So this means tools become self-describing, portable, and discoverable at runtime. So this means no more bespoke wrappers for each runtime, no more brittle integrations, and way more reusability across teams and clouds. And Azure AI Foundry actually supports MCP out of the box. So you can bring in any existing MCP servers, wire them into your agents, and still get enterprise-grade governance, observability, and security. So bottom line, tools are your fuel, MCP is the actual wiring, and Foundry, Azure AI Foundry, is the engine that you use to build your agentic applications. Again, when GPT-5 dropped its model, we launched it first on Azure AI Foundry even before GPT-5, and that's something we are proud of. Though this is not a net new GPT-5 news, it's something that we wanted to call out as part of the GPT-5 features, which is freeform tool calling. So this means that the model no longer has to squeeze everything into rigid JSON. Instead, it can shoot off raw text like SQL queries, Python scripts, or config files directly in the format your tool expects. So why does this matter? Because JSON wrappers, while structured, often add friction. Freeform tool calling feels more natural, more flexible, and much more closer to how developers actually work. You can chain tools together, like querying a database with SQL and then hand results to a Python script without babysitting format conversions. So the result is actually cleaner integrations, faster developer cycles, and more expressive workflows. So this is a big step towards making agents feel less like brittle pipelines and more like intuitive collaborators. And the final highlight is something I'm super proud of, which is that Microsoft has once again been named a leader in the 2025 Gartner Magic Quadrant for cloud native application platforms. And not just a leader, we are the farthest right in completeness of vision. So it's a validation that Azure isn't just keeping up with the AI wave, it's actually defining it. From app service and container apps to functions, static web apps, and now agentic DevOps integrated with GitHub Copilot and Azure AI Foundry, the platform gives you an end-to-end runway where you can build, deploy, scale, and repeat without friction. So whether you're running microservices, pushing AI agents into production, or just trying to ship code faster, this recognition actually reinforces that Azure is where vision meets execution. So that brings us to the highlights, weekly highlights, and now I'll hand it over to Bethany. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shamila, for the highlights. They're always on point. I'm not sure if you're coming back on the screen. Yes, I wanted to, yeah. I wanted to comment on one, the agent story. I gotta love the analogy you gave around the agents. You said Foundry is the engine and the tools are now the
Agent is
fuel.
the wire and tools are the fuel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how you can do everything now with Azure AI Foundry, like you can even bring your own MCP. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yep.
incredible. Yeah, and then the last thing I want to highlight is the hackathon project. So our hackathon is actually coming up in a few. So I'm not sure if you have anything like any use cases or ideas around that you're going to test out.
Yeah, I've actually registered for it and I'm still figuring out which one I'm going to be working on. Like, I have a couple of ideas, but mine are more focused on our product marketing team. Like, there are a lot of things we can do to improve our productivity, our processes, and like and I'm going to be using a lot of the tools that we have talked about today and in the past Model Mondays, like all our
Yeah,
MCP tools and agent service and all that. So I'm kind of working on figuring out which is our most challenging problem today. Like in especially like we have things like around model launches and all that where we need a lot of process streamlining, which where
yeah.
these models and our tools can help a lot.
Yeah, that's important. So everyone on the chat, you should be thinking around, okay, I've been hearing about all these models, all these tools. How can I use it now to solve the challenges that I have? Thank you so much, Shamila,
Thank
for your
you.
time. Thank you
And
so much.
actually, one more thing I wanted to just, I know this is kind of ad hoc, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to also let people who are watching, let them know that we are looking for some feedback on what you would like to see at Ignite. Ignite is coming up. There are a lot of sessions and things that we are working on, but would love to know if anybody who has attended our previous build or Ignites, like what do you think is missing or what do you want to see more of? So if you can leave some comments in the chat either here or in our Discord, I'll be happy to take that feedback and make sure we put together some really interesting sessions and other
Yeah.
like demos for you.
Yeah, definitely. You should tell us what you want to learn, what you're eager about, because at the end of the day, everything that is done in Ignite is also uploaded on YouTube and every platform that you'll get to see. So yeah, that's a very, yeah. Tell us what are you looking forward to see? Thank
Yep.
you so much, Camila. Thank you for your time. Yeah, and now for the session of the day. As I mentioned, today we're talking about the Azure AI Foundry Speech Playground, and we have a program manager from the team. So, Utkarsh, Anna, you can bring Utkarsh up? Yes. Maybe you
Hey,
can
Bethany,
introduce.
how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Yeah, you can introduce yourself. Yeah.
I'm Utkarsh. I'm a product manager working on speech products. Really excited about the voice input and output modality in general, and excited for the demo today.
Yeah, so today we're talking all about speech and in the AI Foundry Playground. So if you've been in the Microsoft ecosystem long enough, you might remember we used to have the cognitive services, then they rebranded to the AI services, and now everything is right on Azure AI Foundry. So if you're just building with the models that the OG models, the large language models like the GPTs and everything, the llamas, you can build on Azure AI Foundry, but you can also access the OG models, the cognitive services that we used to have, that is vision, speech, and I think we still have languages, right? So you can access all of them on Azure AI Foundry. So you'll go into the demo and you'll see a little bit of what to expect in the, like what you can be able to do in the speech playground. And then if you have any questions, please drop them on the chat and we'll get to them after this brief demo. So Anna, you can share with us the demo.
I'd love to set the stage with a quick product overview. Azure Speech is a unified service offering a comprehensive suite of speech capabilities and APIs. Our mission is to empower developers and organizations like you to bring your apps to life through voice, covering over 150 languages and 600 pre-built voices. Today, we'll start with testing our speech recognition capabilities. Then we'll listen to a few pre-built neural voices, check out a couple avatars, and watch a video translation demo featuring our custom voice offering. Towards the end, we will tie it all together with our exciting new Voice Live API. Now in public preview. This is a real-time API that integrates all premium speech capabilities I mentioned with GenAI. With this API, you can build voice agents from scratch or easily add voice to your existing text-based agents or chatbots. Let's get started. Let's head to the speech playground in Azure AI Foundry. You can find this playground in the Playgrounds tab. You can test all speech capabilities, perform fine-tuning if you need to, and get started with code. This playground is honestly a cheat code to get started with the speech service. For our first demo, we'll explore how Azure Speech converts spoken language into accurate, readable text. Here, in the real-time transcription playground, I'll press record, and I'm speaking a few sentences. Notice how the audio is instantly transcribed below, even as I'm speaking. This service recognizes natural pauses in speech, variations in accent, and domain-specific terms. Speech also offers two other ways of performing transcription. One is fast transcription, which is a file in, file out method of quickly performing transcription on your audio files. And batch allows you to process very large amounts of data by providing a blob storage URL instead. If you'd like to fine-tune these capabilities according to your use case, your industry, and jargon, you can perform custom speech, which allows you to provide domain-specific vocabulary, pronunciation data, audio samples, which helps tune the models to background noise, accents, and jargon. Next, we will test out the text-to-speech capabilities, turn written text into lifelike audio. This text-to-speech engine uses neural models to synthesize speech into hundreds of voices and languages and styles. Let's start with listening to Ava.
Get crafty with a guide to creative projects and homemade hacks for every occasion. From home decor and fashion to cooking and gardening, each episode is packed with inspiration and step-by-step tutorials to unleash your inner DIY enthusiast, empowering you to express your creativity and make something unique.
Well, that was very natural and bright. I definitely want to show a few more capabilities here. So we'll filter for voices that can whisper. And let's listen to a few different styles that the voice chain has, starting with Cheerful.
These include fur hats, steel helmets, caps and other badges, and watches.
And Angry.
Who got you that smoothie that one time when nobody else wanted to help you out?
And lastly, let's listen to Davis's default voice.
He waved to acknowledge the crowd, and then he waved again.
Shouting.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted.
And my favorite, which is whispering.
I don't think we have much time left. Let's get going.
While these are all the pre-built voices, you can also create your own voices using the professional voice or personal voice capabilities. The text-to-speech APIs also offer avatars. These are some of our pre-built avatars. I typed in hello and welcome to Model Mondays. Let's generate this video. While the video generates, I want to point out that you can also insert gestures into your avatar.
Hello and welcome to Model Mondays.
Fast and easy. Let's bring these capabilities together by first looking at the video translation API. This service auto-detects the spoken language, then transcribes the audio to text, and then translates this content into English. Let's watch the original video first.
Microsoft ha estado 25 años comprometido con El Salvador. Microsoft es hablar de innovación y es hablar del presente y futuro de El Salvador. Son 25 años y contando los que, como marca, Microsoft ha logrado cumplir con cada uno de sus objetivos en el país.
Nos apoyamos muchísimo en su liderazgo, en su tecnología de punta y en su innovación continua.
Microsoft le permite a Nico ser parte de un ecosistema tecnológico a nivel mundial.
Más que un aliado para nosotros, más que un socio, realmente es un amigo estratégico e incondicional.
Teniendo en cuenta y como principal razón de ser nuestra misión y visión, permitiendo que los salvadoreños puedan...
I'd like for you to notice that there were 4 speakers in this original video, and in the translated video, the dubbed voices are actually very close to those of the original speakers, and the voices are in sync with the speakers, and they change based on the speaker in the video.
Microsoft has been committed to El Salvador for 25 years. Microsoft stands for innovation and represents the present and future of El Salvador. It's been 25 years, and as a brand, Microsoft has achieved each of its goals in the country.
We rely heavily on their leadership, cutting-edge technology, and continuous innovation.
Microsoft allows Nico to be part of a global technological ecosystem.
More than an ally to us, more than a partner, it truly is a strategic and unconditional friend.
Very cool. The last thing I want to highlight is the Voice Live API that also brings all these capabilities together. This API helps you create voice agents by bringing in LLMs such as GPT-4o and other LLMs, as you can see here, and tying that with speech input and output using the speech service. Let's test out the language learning agent.
Hi there. My name is Ava, and I'm your English teacher today. What's your name, my dear?
Hi, Ava. I'm Utkarsh.
Oh, hi, Utkarsh.
Hi, Ava. Can I learn more about English from you?
Absolutely, Utkarsh. I'd love to help you learn more about English.
As you might have seen there, I was able to barge in, and also Ava had started the conversation herself. That's because of proactive engagement. If I turn this off, I will have to start the conversation myself. There's a few other settings you can do with the help of the speech service. For example, selecting auto detection of language or selecting your own source language, enabling voice activity detection and other settings, as you can see here. Similarly, for voice output, you can change the voices or use your own custom voice that you've trained. What we're going to do is add an avatar so we have a face for this agent. note that since I turned off proactive engagement, I'll have to start the conversation myself. Hi there, how can I start learning English?
Hi there. That's a great question. You can start learning English by focusing on easy words and short sentences. We will practice simple phrases. Are you ready to try?
Yes, let's go.
Awesome. Let's start with a simple greeting. When you meet someone, you can say, "Hello, how are you?" Can you say that with me? Hello.
Once you're ready to deploy this to code, just click this button and you can import this code into your favorite IDE. I'd love to wrap this up by showing a real-world example of how Coca-Cola used custom neural voice and custom avatar for their last holiday campaign.
Now, tell me all about your favorite holiday memory.
Yeah. That Santa Claus was amazing. I really love, like, when I was watching this video for the first time and I saw the Santa Claus video, I was like, this is perfect. Yeah. We have some questions, but before we get to the questions, first of all, I love the simplicity of the interface. Like, you can just click on like, everything is just simple. You can just click on whatever you want to do. For example, I've done the voice translation, the video translation. It was within, I think it took me like 30 minutes from start to finish to just have everything done. It was really impressive. So the first question I have for you is around, we have a very big concern around parody, right? So we've heard about deepfake, we have heard about all this. For example, what if someone takes up your voice and uses it? So that's the first question. So what do you think about parody in relation to speech?
I think that's a great question. Prosody is one of the most important characteristics a voice has, and the new voices we are releasing, for example, one of the HD voices we heard has very good quality of prosody. I would also recommend that we have a custom voice creation method called custom neural voice or professional voice. And with that, you can also train your voice to be as close to your original speaker as you'd like.
So you can just customize it to now as close to your original as you can, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. The other question is around avatars. Can we, from YouTube? So Vikram is asking, can we customize avatars as well?
Yes, avatars are also customizable. You can go online to our documentation and find a link on how to customize avatars.
Okay, so the other question is from Carnegie, who's asking, what is the requirement to use the playground? What do you need? Do you need like an Azure subscription? How do you get started? Yeah.
That's a great question. You need a Azure Foundry Hub and Project resource. So yes, you need an Azure subscription to get started.
Yeah, and then the other question was around dialects. So Andrew from LinkedIn is asking, there's a lot of concerns about text-to-speech in terms of its ability to reproduce different dialects. So sometimes you might have like, for example, an Egyptian. I feel like it's mostly in African context because we do not have like a lot of data. So how like looking forward, how are you looking into how, or even currently, how do you like work around the dialects to make it better?
Yeah, I think you made a very good point. I want to point out that dialects are very hard in general, and we try our best to not only fit to a particular dialect, but also make sure we generalize it enough so that there's other dialects in that particular language also. But that's exactly why we offer the custom neural voice capabilities, because then you can train your own voices based on the dialects that you would like for your customers, so that you don't have to rely on the dialects that we have in our voices.
Yeah, we have, I think, 3 more questions, and then we'll go to the next segment. So someone is just commenting, using voice as a two-factor factor, like when you're doing two-factor authentication, that might be like in future it might not be something 100% guaranteed that it will work, right? Or what do you think about it? Like, most of the time you use like either your fingerprint or like a second device from a security perspective. So how like do you perceive voice and basically authentication using voice?
Yeah, I would say responsible AI in general is a very, very important topic at Microsoft. And it is something we think about whenever we're building all of our products and models. So the custom voice capabilities and the custom avatar capabilities are grounded in our responsible AI principles. They need an application to that goes through a process with our teams to ensure that only the right and safe use cases are approved, and that helps with security and privacy.
Yeah, there's a lot of, sometimes you have to even like fill forms to get access to some of the APIs as well. Yeah. So the last 2 questions. So when you're building agents, this is from Jin on YouTube. So agents, how do they invoke the speech API? Do they use like REST, or how do you connect your agent to the, I'm guessing it's the live voice API?
Yes, exactly. So it is the Voice Live API directly. The Voice Live API can integrate with the Azure AI agent service, or you can just use the Voice Live API itself to create your own voice agent interaction.
And then the last question, if you train it like with your own voice, if you train I'm guessing it's the custom voice service, one of the custom services. So if you train your own voice, will it have an accent when it's speaking another language? And how can you be able to prevent that?
You just read the question.
So the question is like, if I'm training the model to speak my own custom voice, right?
Mhm.
And then I want it to speak a different language, but I don't want it to have like an accent when it's speaking another language. How do you mitigate that? Or how, I'm guessing even from the video where we had like 4 different voices, how does it like pick which accent or tone to use basically?
Yeah, you can specify what language you are training in, and we also have multilingual voices that you can use. So that is something that you can specify when you're performing the training.
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. There's a lot of questions on the chat. You can feel free to continue posting your questions here. We will be having an AMA on Friday. I will be sharing the link at the end, but the link has also been pasted on the chat. We'll be having an AMA on this topic on Friday. So join us as we talk more about this. And also, if you're on Discord, kindly join us and ask all the questions you have around this topic. I'm very interested with all the questions you've asked. There's a lot of interest around security, around like dialects, around different languages. So yes, feel free to join us and ask about any of the questions you have. And then before I conclude this section, my colleague April does weekly videos around what we talk about in a series called Inside Azure AI Foundry. So last week he did a video around the Mistral Document AI, and I'm guessing this week he'll do another video around the speech services. So feel free to check out the videos and the demos she'll be posting on YouTube. And lastly, before we conclude, we have a customer story. So we have Hilo, who will be sharing with us how they're improving the health services using multimodal AI. So over to the video from Hilo.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Sid Shah, and I'm the Vice President of Hilo. We're a healthcare technology company based out of Massachusetts. And we have customers which are physician practices. We also have payers and PBMs as our customers. And we offer the software solutions for these customers of ours to engage better with their patients and members. We build software which encompasses the journey of a patient when they go visit a doctor, right? Everything that happens before the visit, during the visit, and after the visit. Imagine things like, booking an appointment, registering for, at the doctor's office, checking into a visit that you have, things that happen during the visit, like the notes that the doctor create. We have a ambient listening product that we just released last year, which allows the doctor and the patient communication to be automatically transcribed and summarized and made available in a summarized structured note, so the doctors don't have to spend time in building those notes. And everything that happens after the visit, like making payments or communicating with the patients, for healthcare reminders and alerts. So Hilo provides, software solutions between, these visit before, after, and during the visit. To give you an idea of the footprint, this gives you some statistics, some numbers. We touch about 16,000 different physician practices, 180,000 providers, physicians that use the product, and their patients have access to the medical records through Hilo mobile app. We send communication messages out to patients through different channels like voice, text, emails, and we do about 50 million of these every month. Our payment processing solution processes about $2 billion worth of payments every year, and we connect with the top payers, PBMs today to kind of help them through connection between their members and them. So as you see, we have a good amount of users in the US. We've used AI. We've been using AI for quite some time now. We started our journey right when it was announced, starting I think January 2023. We started to adopt this in different places, and we do have the different models that we use today for image, text, and voice. To give you an idea of the different use cases that happen in healthcare, I won't be able to cover all of these. It'll take the full session, but I'll touch upon some of them. Document management is one of an area which you can probably relate to. Doctor's office use faxes all the time. It's ironic we're talking about AI and then we talk about faxing, right? But it's being used every day at every physician practice. They get tons of faxes from different places, other doctor's office or from patients and so on, labs and other places. So when these documents come into the doctor's office, somebody has to, it's the full-time role of a person to take those documents and file them in the patient record in the right folder, and then assign it to a person who can then review it. With the option of the image AI, we're able to actually sweep through those documents, file them in the right patient record. If you have a fax that is multiple pages, we can take away and break those pages down and file specific pages to different patient records, put them in the right folders, assign it to the right user, right? So it saves a lot of time for practice staff. It also helps with reducing the error rates, which happens when you manually file these records. So that helps a lot in these use cases. I mentioned about Suno also, right, a little bit, which is the ambient listening product, and that saves a ton of time for physicians because they don't have to go point and click and document their chart, right? The ambient listening system is listening to the provider-patient discussion, and it converts that natural language into a clinical note, which the doctors can just put into their system, and it's available to use. So it takes away the burden from physicians. Hilo Genie is the product I want to talk about next, which is a AI-powered contact center solution. It sits on top of EHRs and CRM solutions, and it's designed to help physician practices improve their operations and reduce the burden on the staff. So what happens today is, when phone calls and text messages and chats come from patients, the doctor's office are overwhelmed right now. They maybe don't have enough staff. To take those many number of calls, it takes a lot of people to manage that. With this product of ours, we offer an agent to our physician practices, which will take these calls and routine tasks like appointment booking, refill requests, billing questions, referral questions are all addressed through this agent. And if the agent is, for whatever reason, not able to answer, or the patient needs to talk to a human, we also route these calls through our contact center solution to the human agent. We don't stop there. When the human agent takes these calls, we also assist the human agent through AI, so they can shorten the amount of time they take to get the patients the answer to the questions they have. We also have this Genie agent help the patient practice during after hours. Patients call, let's say after 6 o'clock when the doctor's office is shut. Genie will collect the information that the doctor's office would need and then route that information to the on-call provider. So now they don't need to buy separate systems or have a autoresponder or someone to take that information. So it saves them a lot of cost. And then finally, we also have conversational smart campaigns. So there are many routine reasons why physician offices call the patients. For example, if there's a procedure, I need to call you to prep you for the procedure. I need to call you for an appointment reminder. We need to call patients for routine follow-ups, right? So there are many various different reasons why practices call the patients. What we're doing now with Genie is we're making that conversation happen through the AI agent, right? So it's it takes away the time from a physician office to make those outbound calls. Genie will make those calls for the practice. So as you can understand, there's so many different use cases, and it'll free up time from the physician office and to really take care of the patients. Here's just a quick kind of a snapshot of the architecture of this product. As you can see on the left side, you have the patient who can call, text, or come through the practice website through a chatbot. We use Azure Communication Services to route that information. The function app in the middle will take the event, transfer past that to the FAST API, and that will connect to the EHR or a CRM tool, get the right information back, understand the intent of what the patient's trying to ask, use the Azure OpenAI models to get the answers, and then respond back to the patient. Works beautifully, and thank you to our friends at Microsoft and the Azure team to help us with this product.
Yeah, I really, really love how you can see where they're plugging in AI in the entire, from when, even before you get to the hospital to even after you leave the hospital, how you can integrate AI and how everything works seamlessly. So it's really, really awesome to see that. So thank you so much. That was our customer story from Hilo. It was a presentation, a demo during build, so you can check it out on our customer story segment. Other than that, thank you so much for joining us today. Next week, we'll be talking about observability. So if you've been building your different AI models and everything, you know how key observability is in terms of how do you evaluate your system and how do you know if anything is wrong, right? So we'll have the session next week, and it will be hosted by April. Other than that, please remember to join us on Friday for Foundry Friday AMA. This AMA session, all the questions that weren't answered today. And again, if you still have a question, you can paste it on the chat or you can post it on Discord. And we'll have Utkarsh join us on Friday at 1:30 p.m. ET. That's 8:30 p.m. my time. That's East African time. So you can join us and learn more about the speech service. And in case you have any question, feel free to leave it there. Just drop it on the chat, and we'll be there to answer. All the links, the recaps. I've seen so many people asking, okay, which link will I need to, if I want to get started with speech, which link do I need to use? If I want to join Discord, which link do I need to use? All the links are here. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. In case you have any questions, feel free to paste it on the chat or on Discord. And on Friday, we'll be answering all of them. Thank you so much and have a very lovely day, evening, or even morning. Bye.
Thank you all for joining, and thank you to our speakers. This session is a part of a series. To register for future shows and watch past episodes on demand, you can follow the link on the screen or in the chat. We're always looking to improve our sessions and your experience. If you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find that link on the screen or in the chat. We'll see you at the next one.